Tuesday morning, August 16th, 1988. A Wells Fargo truck arrived at the NCNB Bank at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, Boca Raton. After guard Carlton Waters entered the vault entrance, two masked gunmen began making their way along bushes which border the bank walkway leading to the armored vehicle. Walters remembers one man was dressed in a green Army fatigue jacket, dark pants, gloves, and a ski mask. As the guard raised his firearm, the suspect, armed with a short-barrel shotgun, identified himself as a police officer and fired.
Call the police!
Walters was hit in the right arm. The gunman grabbed the money bags and, with his companion, fled towards Southeast 2nd Avenue and a waiting car. The second man wore dark clothing and a stocking over his face. The stolen getaway car, a 1984 maroon Aries, was found in a parking lot 2 blocks south of the NCNB Bank Plaza. Police recovered a ski mask, a blue baseball cap with the letters LA on the front, and a black holster. If you know anything about this armed robbery, attempted murder, or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers. This crime began as a minor traffic accident on 36th Street near North Dixie Highway in West Palm Beach. Helene Tuckbrider's Cadillac was bumped from behind. She pulled over to assess the damage and was confronted by the passenger in the yellow or beige Ford or Mercury four-door which struck her automobile. The vehicle may have minor front-end damage. The muscular big man wore a red and black short-sleeve polo shirt and red shorts. His hairstyle was a modified afro.
Open the door, lady. Open the door. I'll cut your gullet. Open it.
This man said some very ugly words, and I opened the door, and I put my foot out, and he grabbed me by the leg.
Let's go.
Tuckbrider was dragged to the rear of the Cadillac. A second suspect, 5'8" to 5'10", 155 pounds, pinned her to the ground while his accomplice tried to remove a large diamond ring from her left hand. She resisted.
Hey, lady. Open it. Break it.
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help!
The young black man, 18 to 22 years of age, broke 2 of Tuckbrider's fingers and stole 5 pieces of jewelry. The suspects left their victim in the street. They took both cars. Tuckbrider's Cadillac was found in the 600 block of 21st Street. An unidentified person returned her purse, but declined the reward.
I'm Sergeant Van Reeth of the West Palm Beach Police Department. This case is still under investigation, and we need your help. Should you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers.
I told you I'd be back, didn't I?
The man who entered Golden Charm Jewelers in Belle Glade on August 2nd, 1988, was recognized as a customer from the previous day. On this visit to the South Main Street store, the suspect would attempt robbery. Employees described him as approximately 30 years of age, 6 feet tall, with a heavy build, short black hair, brown eyes, and a mustache. He was wearing blue jeans, a brown striped shirt, and a cap.
This the one you liked?
Yes, I think she'll like this one.
I think it's real nice. It's a good size.
Okay. Could I see the second one, Sal?
Sure. Let me show you.
The man pretended an interest in a necklace. As the saleswoman began to remove the item from a glass case, the suspect moved quickly to the end of the counter and behind it, where he pulled a small silver handgun.
You really don't want to do this.
Don't make me do this.
Please.
Please don't make me do this.
Despite the man's threatening words and while at gunpoint, the clerk reached for an alarm button and set it off. The suspect fled without any merchandise. A businessman reported seeing a man matching the suspect's description at a nearby fast food restaurant only minutes after the attempted armed robbery.
I'm Detective Mark Miller of the Belle Glade Police Department. If you have any information in reference to this crime or any others, call Crime Stoppers.
Willie James Jeans may have died September 12, 1988, the day he arrived in West Palm Beach from Cocoa, Florida. The 53-year-old man, dressed in a light-colored pullover and blue jeans, was carrying a white plastic bag. He left the Trailways bus depot walking south on Georgia Avenue. 2 hours later, Jeans was seen with another man behind the Winn-Dixie supermarket at Georgia and Belvedere. The assailant was shouting in Creole.
Hey, you know, hey, chill, hey, man.
Jeans was never seen alive after his encounter with a stranger. The black male suspect may possibly be of Haitian descent. He is 6'2", 170 pounds with a full beard and mustache. Crime scene evidence indicates Jeans was taken to a wooded area near Pratt & Whitney and Highway 710 in northwestern Palm Beach County.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Chill, man. Chill, man. Don't do that, man. Chill.
Jeans was a 6'1", 165-pound black man with brown eyes and receding black hair. The killer shot him 5 times. Jean's body was doused with gasoline and burned beyond recognition. His remains were discovered September 13th, 1988.
I'm Detective Tom Turner of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information concerning this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, call Crime Stoppers.
On September 16th, 1988, Kevin Judge was so badly injured even his wife couldn't identify him by looking at his face.
I had to look at his fingers because his face was so swollen and scratched and bruised. And he was a wreck. He was on oxygen, and they told me he hadn't waken up, and he didn't wake up until 3.5 days after the accident. He was in a coma.
Ellen theorizes that Kevin, who suffers a short-term memory loss as a result of the accident, was walking west on Sandalfoot Boulevard in Boca Raton toward his mother's house when he was hit. The driver did not stop. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement took paint chips from Judge's pants and determined the color of the vehicle, white or light tan with a gold decorative stripe. The accident occurred about 8 p.m. daylight saving time. Judge is continuing with physical therapy to regain full use of his left arm.
Don't flex your trunk. Remember, keep it straight because that means you're substituting, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to use your shoulder muscles. Bring it up. Okay, is that as far as you can go?
Judge, a carpenter by trade, is unable to work. Medical bills exceed $80,000 and are mounting. 3 months after the accident, the hit-and-run case is unsolved, but the judges are hopeful the driver will be found.
I drive down that street every day and have to see that same spot where he was hit every day. And I think I see a truck that might fit the description. And, oh, he looks like the type. I'll be suspicious forever.
It's just not right, though. I have to go through the rest of my life like this. You know, it's just, I got emotional problems now. I got a memory problem. I never had this before. And it's just, hopefully they'll come forward, whoever it is.
It was between midnight and 3 a.m., December 10th, 1988, when a young woman pulled into the suburban Boca Raton gas station just off North Palmetto Circle and Power Line Road. She asked for directions.
Can you tell me how to get to Delray Beach?
Yeah, you go right out here, make a right-hand turn, go down 1 block.
The conversation was overheard by 2 men. They were sitting in a late model, full-sized pickup. The vehicle is metallic blue with silver lug nuts and a black bed liner.
Hey, we're going to Delray Beach. You want to follow us down there?
Okay.
All right.
She followed the truck as it traveled southwest 18th Street, turned north on Military Trail, and pulled off on the east side of the road. The 2 white men in their early 30s rushed the woman's car.
What are you doing? No! No! What are you doing? No! Stop! No!
The sexual assault victim described one attacker as 6 feet tall, 165 pounds with long brown hair. The other man was slightly smaller, 5'8", 150 pounds, medium-length hair, spiked on top, straight on the sides. Both men raped the woman in the back of the pickup truck. The suspects left the woman at the scene and fled north on Military Trail.
I'm Jim DeFago, investigator of Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
Sonia Doss Porter left the Celebrations Lounge between 8 and 9 p.m. September 30th, 1988. She was alone. The nightclub is located on Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach. Police theorize Porter walked to her car only to find it wouldn't start. The blue and white 1976 Chevrolet Malibu Classic 4-door disappeared the night Porter was murdered and is still missing. The car had a Florida license tag DZL 50M. Porter never was heard from after calling her employer to say she would be late for work.
Please, oh my God, please, no, please, please, no.
Porter's assailant attacked her with a knife. She was stabbed several times and died. The body was discovered by workers at a construction site off Gibson Road, 1/2 mile north of North Lake Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens, just after noon on October the 1st.
I'm Detective Michael Waits of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. We need your help in solving this case. If you know anything about this crime, call Crime Stoppers.
Early on the morning of December 4th, 1988, two Palm Beach County girls lived a nightmare. A masked stranger broke into their home on Cannon Way in suburban West Palm Beach. The white male suspect pried a screen from its frame and crawled through the window. The man made his way to the family room where two sisters were sleeping. The youngest child, a 10-year-old, woke up and saw the intruders standing next to the couch.
Which one's the oldest of you two?
After the suspect ordered the girls to trade places, he raped the 11-year-old. The witnesses described the attacker as 6 feet tall and wearing a multicolored shirt and dark pants. A nylon stocking stretched over his head was knotted in the back. The man left the house by the front door, discarding bedclothes as he fled. Police believe the rapist sped away from the crime scene in a car which was parked near the home on Cannon Way.
I'm Jim DeFago, investigator of Crime Stoppers at Palm Beach County. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
As a young woman approached the post office near the Palmetto Park Square shopping center in Boca Raton, police were just across the parking lot at a restaurant investigating a strong-armed robbery which had been committed only minutes earlier. They believe the same dark-haired man is responsible for 4 similar crimes in Lighthouse Point, Boca Raton, and Deerfield Beach between 5:30 and 7:30 p.m., November 1st, 1988. The suspect passed the woman as he left the lobby of the closed post office, and she entered the building alone. He returned, proceeded to the opposite end of the room, and turned the corner. When the 6'2" man reappeared, he was holding a weapon, possibly a tire iron. The suspect, approximately 25 years old, approached the woman unnoticed and struck her from behind. He took her purse and fled. The victim required several stitches and was treated for a concussion. In at least one other instance, the strong-armed robber was seen getting into a tan-colored Pontiac Bonneville or Chevrolet Impala, 1975 or older. Investigators say 2 other crimes reported in Boca Raton in December fit the same pattern.
I'm Detective Kevin McGrid.
Could lead police to a murderer.
The young woman may possibly have been seen by many people shortly before she was stabbed to death. The holidays are usually a happy time, joyous, but it was a tragic time of the year for one mother last year. Her daughter was murdered just before Christmas. Prior to the killing, the victim spent several hours in a high-traffic area, and authorities believe that she may have been seen by many people who can help solve the crime.
Paulie Bailey was a frequent visitor to South Dixie Highway in Lake Worth. 5 days before Christmas, 1988, Bailey's mother dropped her daughter off at 6th Avenue. The young woman spoke of plans to meet a friend and return home later that night. Paulie Bailey was 19 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall, 180 pounds, with bushy brown hair. Bailey was wearing a dark-colored dress and casual shoes the night she disappeared while walking near 8th and 9th Avenues on South Dixie Highway. Witnesses saw her for the last time about 9 p.m. Investigators believe Bailey accepted a ride from someone she knew or trusted. Mid-morning the next day, December 21st, Bailey's nude body was found in a wooded area of Royal Palm Beach, northwest of Highway 441 and State Road 7. She had been stabbed several times.
I'm Tom Brooks, a coordinator for the Crime Stoppers program here in Palm Beach County. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
The number to call with information is 689-TIPS in West Palm Beach, 996-TIPS from Western Palm Beach County, and 276-TIPS from the South County area. Bill survived the night, but died early today. In a moment, how residents in one city are taking to the streets in an effort to battle street-level crime. And you might be able to help police find a person responsible for...
difference community savings can make in your life.
If you drive along South Dixie Highway in Boynton Beach, you may have seen something that could help police find a hit-and-run driver who is responsible for the death of an elderly man. Witnesses were able to provide sketchy descriptions of both the car and the driver, but you might be able to provide the missing pieces of this puzzle. At age 85, Benjamin Patika walked nearly everywhere he went. At 9:30 on the morning of December 28, 1988, he stopped at a crosswalk in the 1600 block of South Federal Highway in Boynton Beach. After using a pedestrian signal switch to stop traffic, Patika headed across the street. At the same time, a vehicle driven by a black man left the Causeway Square Shopping Center parking lot and turned north. The driver did not stop for the red light guarding the walkway. Patika was struck and thrown under the hood of the car, then back onto the street. The suspect backed up and drove around the body. Startled witnesses watched as the automobile left the scene and headed north on South Dixie Highway, then west on Woolbright Road. Police are looking for a 1975 to 1977 model General Motors car, faded silver gray paint in color with tinted windows. The day of the accident, the car carried a temporary tag in the rear window.
Hi, I'm Officer Jim Lognan of the Boynton Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You could become eligible for a Crime Stoppers reward. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS from Boca Raton, and 996-TIPS from Western Palm Beach. Divorce people who could provide vital information about the murder of a 41-year-old man in his own home. The victim was killed last June. Anyone who can help solve this case could become eligible for a Crime Stoppers reward. Investigators believe a conversation between two men interested in the same woman led to murder. Maria Rodriguez, also known as Bambi, was with the prime suspect June 26, 1988, the day of the crime. She once lived with the victim and the man who is wanted for his death. Anthony DiNardo may have discussed plans to leave Palm Beach County with Rodriguez when he met with John Morrison for the last time. DiNardo wanted money.
So you got a few bucks? You know, we're running tight on money, and, you know, I've done a lot of things for you for the last several months.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have the money now for you, and I'm not going to have it.
The person who murdered John Morrison was armed with a knife. The victim was grabbed from behind and stabbed. Anthony DiNardo dropped out of sight after John Morrison's death. He is wanted for questioning. The 26-year-old suspect is a drifter with a history of narcotics use. DiNardo sleeps in vacant buildings and wooded areas and frequents labor pools. He has burn marks on his chest and right arm. John Morrison was found dead at his in-home office desk. The killer ran from the house on Genesee Avenue in West Palm Beach and is still at large.
I'm Jim DeFeo, the investigator of Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. So the number to call is 689-TIPS from West Palm Beach, 276-TIPS from the South County area, and 996-TIPS from the Glades. This is Action 5 News at 6 o'clock. A young South Florida woman will never return home. Her body was found wrapped and bound in a sleeping bag on the side of a main road. The discovery was made just 3 weeks ago after she disappeared from a West Palm Beach street. Amy Beth Crouch Easterling was a familiar sight in downtown West Palm Beach. The convicted prostitute was often seen working on Dixie Highway near Hibiscus. She was last seen in the Central City neighborhood Sunday afternoon, January 15th. The 23-year-old woman disappeared sometime after talking to a group of girls. Because of her lifestyle, investigators theorize Easterling may have accepted a ride from a customer who was looking for sex.
The next day, sheriff's deputies found a sleeping bag containing a body on the south side of Donald Ross Road, a half-mile east of Interstate 95 in northern Palm Beach County. The medical examiner later identified the corpse as that of Amy Beth Crouch Easterling. The partially clad murder victim died of strangulation. Amy Beth Crouch Easterling was 5'8", 115 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes.
I'm Detective Jim Bannister of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. This case is still being investigated and we need your help. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers.
A Crime Stoppers reward may be offered to anyone who can help solve this case. The number to call is 689-TIPS. In the Boca Del Rey area, 276-TIPS. And in the Glades, 996-TIPS. Several purse snatchers were also reported in this week's Crime Stoppers report, but we have delayed the airing of that program until...
Transportation is investigating that accident.
Tonight, police are looking for clues to a hit-and-run accident that claimed the life of a 23-year-old West Palm Beach man. Investigators say the victim was legally drunk, but they need more information to locate the driver. Timothy M. Blackwell put himself in jeopardy by drinking too much alcohol and walking along busy State Road 7 near Forest Hill Boulevard at approximately 9 p.m. February 5th.
Hey! Hey, how about a ride? Hey! Hey, man! Hey!
State police say Blackwell may have been hitchhiking. Several drivers saw the 23-year-old man as he weaved in and out of the northbound traffic lane. Blackwell was 5'9", 132 pounds with red hair and blue eyes. Witnesses say Blackwell was knocked onto the hood of the vehicle and carried several feet. Blackwell's body was found under the guardrail. Investigators are looking for a maroon or red vehicle with possible damage to the right front and the person who left the scene of the fatal accident.
I'm Trooper R.E. Davis with the Florida Highway Patrol. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
If you can help with information, you could become eligible for a Crime Stoppers reward. Call 689-TIPS in West Palm Beach, 276-TIPS in the Boca Raton area, and 996-TIPS in western Palm Beach County.
Brace yourself. The cold weather is... A shopping center in Lake Park has been providing easy pickings for a couple of purse snatchers.
It seems police have few leads for the pair who have struck several times since the first of this year. The duo apparently operates from a car and targets older women on foot. You may know something which could help police catch the culprits. It's reasonable to feel relatively safe in a large parking lot in front of a busy store during daylight hours. But no one is immune from crime, even in the best of surroundings. In this Lake Park shopping center on North Lake Boulevard, elderly women were the targets of purse snatchers 4 times in 5 weeks. A recent attack took place February 7th. 2 young black men cased the area from their car. While witnesses don't agree on the color, most believe the vehicle is a Buick Regal. In a couple of cases, the suspects picked on women shortly after they parked their cars. Customers leaving the store also have been robbed. Each victim was surprised from behind. The driver pulls close to the woman, and the passenger grabs the purse. The 4 women suffered minor injuries when they were knocked to the pavement by the sudden impact. The getaway car picks up speed and heads toward Old Dixie Highway in Lake Park.
I'm Sergeant Bob Dobson with the Lake Park Police Department. If you have any information concerning this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
If you can help, call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in the Boca Del Rey area, and in western Palm Beach County, call 996-TIPS.
Well, right now there's a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Palm. Tonight, a 5-year veteran of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department is suspended without pay after the escape of a prisoner from her custody. Deborah Hollis jumped out of the sheriff's car while being taken to the county jail. A search of that area didn't turn up anything. Hollis is also known as Deborah Sweeney. She's awaiting trial on several charges, including burglary and grand theft, and now the escape. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS if you have any information about her whereabouts. Laurel?
Lawmen are also searching tonight for someone who is using the hottest item in the small arms arsenal, the assault rifle. That was the weapon of choice when a 27-year-old Lake Worth man was killed in a surprise attack. Firepower is used against small groups of people who hang out on the streets. As a member of the Florida Renegades, Bruce Crump knew violence on the football field, but he was defenseless against armed men the night of January 17th. Crump, his fiancée, and her sister were talking to each other when a vehicle approached them in the 100 block of Northeast 13th Street in Boynton Beach. A tall, thin, masked black man dressed in a red shirt was the first of 3 suspects to jump from the vehicle.
Jackpot, you do!
He fired a short-barreled assault rifle at the trio. The apparent ringleader was backed up by 2 other black men who fired handguns at the fleeing victims. Bruce Crump was hit in the lower back. He died during emergency surgery. The 2 women escaped unharmed. Police believe a 4th suspect, a wheelman, drove the Jack Boys getaway car.
I'm Detective Rick Leonard of the Boynton Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. The number to call is Crime Stoppers. That's 689-TIPS.
Meteorologist Art Horn is up next with the weather, and don't expect much to change.
Uh-oh, that much-needed rain is certainly here, and Art's up next.
Crime in the streets, frightening to all of us, but we'd like to feel secure in our own homes.
We sure would, but Jim, unfortunately, that's not always possible. That's the case in tonight's Crime Stoppers report. Police are looking for a rapist who attacks women in the Palm Beach Gardens area in a location where women normally feel safe. No one is immune to crime these days, even in your own home. Police theorize this suspect may have committed 2 similar sexual assaults in the Gardens. The victim had returned home from an evening out and was tidying up. Police believe the suspect may have been watching the house as he seemed familiar with his surroundings. He apparently got into the house through a sliding glass door that may have been tampered with earlier. Once inside, the suspect picks up a knife from the kitchen and heads down the hallway in search of his victim. He stopped in the bathroom, grabs some pantyhose, and then puts on a makeshift mask to disguise his features. And while the unknowing victim is sound asleep, the suspect makes his move.
I'll kill you. Just be quiet.
Please don't.
I won't hurt you. You just...
Tying his victim's hands behind her back with a pantyhose, he moves the victim to the living room where the sexual assault took place. The suspect is described as 5'7" to 5'10" tall, medium build, may have a pot belly, 20 to 30 years old, with some type of accent. He was wearing a dark-colored ski mask with only eye holes, and he may have been wearing gloves. Before leaving, the suspect stole 2 rings from the victim and then left through the front door.
I'm Detective David O'Neill of the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. The number to call is 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS from South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
Coming up, TV5 meteorologist Art Horn says to expect higher humidity.
Oh, the muggies are coming back, and along with it, there's more pesky showers on the way. Art's forecast is next.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
What began as a routine activity has ended in murder, and police need your help finding out exactly what happened. A West Palm Beach man vanished from his neighborhood and was found dead 2 days later. 63-year-old Patrick Kolzak liked to walk in his neighborhood. Neighbors described him as a responsible, likable guy, active in his community crime watch group who followed a basic routine. Kolzak was last seen alive by a neighbor walking down his street in the Northwood subdivision. His wife told police he walked everywhere and usually carried a couple of $100s on him. One neighbor says she noticed nothing unusual the last time she saw him.
He was traveling west on 39th Street, but he turned right at the corner going like he's going to Super Value Grocery, like he normally goes. He's not the type of person that would get a ride with people. He always walks, you know, where he goes. He always walked to his job in the afternoon.
Kulzak vanished, never seen alive again. Kulzak's body was discovered 2 days later on February 19th. The victim was found by 3 fishermen floating in the Palm Beach Canal in the 8100 block of Southern Boulevard. Kulzak was found fully clothed in dark blue pants and dark blue sweatshirt. Police say the victim died of strangulation. Police theorize he may have been forced into a car, robbed, and then killed.
I'm Detective Bill Foose of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. This case is still being investigated and we need your help. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. The number to call in the West Palm Beach area is 689-TIPS. In South County, call 276-TIPS. And from the Glades area, call 996-TIPS.
Brush fires ignited in the area today. Laurel?
Police in Belglade are trying to track down new leads in the murder of a local worker. The elderly woman was brutally attacked. A routine day for Belglade resident Rosa Wilcher ended in tragedy. On March 16th, the 63-year-old woman left her house at 616 Southwest 7th Street around 6:15 in the morning. She took the same route every day, walking down Southwest Avenue E and heading up 8th Street, where she caught a bus for work. This time, though, she didn't make it. Police think some distance from her house, Mrs. Wilcher was hit in the head from behind. The attacker then stole her purse. Belglade policeman Derek Berry found the victim first.
Ma'am, are you okay? Are you all right, ma'am?
The woman was found lying in the median of the 500 block of Southwest 8th Street in Belglade with a wound to the back of her head. She never regained consciousness and died days later at a local hospital. Police have no suspects in this senseless attack.
I'm Officer Berry of the Belglade Police Department. This case is still being investigated, but is unsolved. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers.
If you can help police, you may be eligible for a reward. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. From Boca Raton, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, the number is 996-TIPS.
Still ahead, dialing yet another number can save the lives of both the very young and the old.
Money and drugs
could be liable for a fine of over $28 million.
Money and drugs, 2 reasons people may kill. But tonight, police are trying to find new leads into the motive and the person responsible for the death of a Lake Worth woman. Her body was found in a quiet and exclusive neighborhood not long ago. And with the help of our Crime Stoppers dramatization, you may be able to provide a clue for police which could help catch a killer. The streets can certainly be a dangerous place, even for those familiar with its hazards. In early February, a 38-year-old woman found out the hard way. Lena Tanilla was trying to grab a ride after several hours drinking in local bars along Dixie Highway in Lake Worth. A Lake Worth policeman stopped her and warned her against hitchhiking.
Hey, what's going on? What's your name?
Lena.
Lena, where are you trying to go?
I gotta get to 45th Street.
Okay, well, you can't hitchhike in the city of Lake Worth. That's against the law. But if you want, I'll call you a cab or a friend or...
No, I'm okay.
Tanilla said she was trying to get a ride to 45th Street in West Palm Beach to get treatment for her alcoholism. She was last seen walking north on Dixie Highway after midnight on Sunday, February 5th. Almost 2.5 hours later, her body was found in the middle of the road on Southern Boulevard in Palm Beach. Tanilla had been stabbed several times.
My name is Detective Ted Morris of the Palm Beach Police Department. If you have any information reference this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
If you can help the Palm Beach Police with this case or know anything about any other crime, you may be eligible for a reward. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. From Boca Raton, the number is 276-TIPS, and from the Glades area, dial 996-TIPS.
This is Action 5 News at 6 o'clock.
Still ahead, meet the $1 Million Man of the Hour, the Treasure Coast Lotto winner.
And when a viewer has a problem with a rust protection package, Contact 5 comes through. Research project to test the effectiveness of using the tree-killing insects.
There are other environmental invaders which are not as natural. Man is nature's worst enemy, especially when it comes to illegal dumping. Tonight, the problem is so serious, lawmen are asking for your help in spotting offenders. It's a growing trend. Trucks driving down isolated highways full of trash that will end up dumped in remote areas. It's a danger to our local ecology. And since October 1988, it's against the law. A tough new litter law makes it a felony to dump garbage more than 500 pounds.
We do have a problem. We are trying to fence, ditch every place we can. And it is a crime to dump, and I hope that new act that's coming in will be a felony and to repossess their vehicles and so on and so forth if they're caught.
County officials have placed signs nearby dumping areas, but it's hard to enforce. It's become easy for drivers to find remote dirt roadways and then unload their cargo. That cargo contains tires, trash, discarded wood objects, old rusted barrels, rusted washing machines, old boat frames, and worst of all, toxic waste leaking into the ground. Local health officials are concerned.
We have two problems. You have solid waste, which really creates a problem with rodent harborage, mosquito breeding, and when it's close to residential areas, it causes a problem. The other problem is our groundwater table. It's very high, and a lot of the waste that's being dumped is hazardous waste, solvents, paint thinners, fuels.
The no litter law will be enforced, and the maximum penalty is 5 years in prison.
I'm Tom Brooks, the coordinator for the Crime Stoppers program here in Palm Beach County. If you have any information about this type of illegal trash dumping, call Crime Stoppers.
And if you spot someone dumping or committing any other crime, call Crime Stoppers. The number is 689-TIPS. From South County, call 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, the number is 996-TIPS.
A new day brings some cooler temperatures to South Florida and a breath of clean, fresh...
For another driver.
Well,
tonight, lawmen are looking for another driver, one who left the scene of a serious accident and left a child with severe injuries. In tonight's Crime Stoppers report, police continue the search for the person responsible as the child struggles to overcome his injuries. 9-year-old Brandon Johnson's life will never be the same. The Palm Springs youngster has to relearn basic skills. Brandon is suffering from neurological damage and a broken leg after being hit by a driver who never stopped. So he goes to therapy 5 days a week, 3 hours a day.
You're going to have to start putting a little weight on that arm there so you can get stronger.
His memory and learning functions are drastically impaired, and the hit-and-run accident has taken a toll on the entire Johnson family.
It's more or less turned our lives around. I've had to quit working full-time. Ken is not able to work as much as he should, and of course it's got an emotional impact on everybody in the family.
Brandon was a normal 9-year-old, leaving for school the morning of March 8th. Walking down his driveway on Purdy Lane, he was hit. Police say the street was wet and the car may have slid into Brandon accidentally. It's assumed Brandon was carried on the hood of the car, an older model green Volkswagen Rabbit, and then fell off near a mailbox across the street. The driver of the car stopped for a moment to look at the youngster, then drove away, driving west on Purdy Lane.
My name's Deputy Sheriff Bruce Spears, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information relating to this crime or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS, that's out in the Glades.
Weather here in South Florida, nice today, and we're keeping our fingers crossed to hope that the weather's going to be nice for the Grand Prix this weekend.
Let's hope so. Art Horn's up next to give us a preview of what to expect. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
Officer Sapanic grabs his gun, ready for anything, and walks up behind the suspects to confront them.
Free! Hold right there!
A struggle occurs as one of the suspects grabs the officer's gun. Officer Sapanik is shot in the leg. He falls trying to stop the suspects, firing shots at them as they fled. Both suspects are described as black males standing about 6 feet tall with short afro cuts, about 19 to 25 years old. Both men wore dark clothing, and one suspect has a gold front tooth.
I'm Officer Judge from the Delray Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades. There are other ways you can help as well.
That's right. Join us Saturday night from 7 to 8 right here on TV5 for Crime Stoppers Countdown.
It's a telethon, and we'll tell you how Crime Stoppers works and how crime affects your life.
We'll have the story of a custody dispute. So Sapanik should be fired. Sapanik is appealing the decision to the city manager. Well,
tonight, police are looking for a burglar who is an expert at breaking into Southern Palm Beach County homes. It's believed he's taken $1.3 million worth of money and jewelry. You may remember a clue from watching this Crime Stoppers dramatization. Police theorize the burglar cases the home or apartment on the same day or day before he strikes. He may be posing as a serviceman or a construction worker. Before he walks in, he cuts the phone cable. He may then leave the area to return at a time when he will not be seen. The subject is described as just over 6 feet tall, 190 to 220 pounds, with brown hair. He appears to have about a 2-day beard growth. The subject usually wears a button-down white shirt and blue work pants. He may be driving a white GMC service van or a dark-colored Chevrolet El Camino.
I'm Detective Camber of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information involving this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information, remain anonymous, and be eligible for a reward. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
And up next in weather, meteorologist Art Horn will be along to tell us what to expect for the weekend.
Uh-oh, he says it could be another soggy sunfest this year. We'll find out right after this.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel.
I don't know, but beef is back in popularity, and it's better today, maybe because of all of the upcoming barbecues.
State court might be able to address the problem just a little bit quicker.
A relaxing bicycle ride turned to tragedy for a Loxahatchee man. Tonight, he remains in a coma. Police hope you can help find the person responsible after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. Last month, a Loxahatchee man, Thomas Glenn Holmes, went for an early morning bike ride. He was riding his bike northbound on Seminole Pratt Whitney Road between 6 and 7 a.m. As the victim approached East Prestwick Drive, he was struck from behind by an unknown vehicle. The victim was discovered by a passing motorist unconscious on the side of the road. He was taken to the hospital where he remains in a coma. Police have no leads in this case and hope a passerby may remember seeing something.
I'm Trooper Savine Williams of the Florida Highway Patrol. If you have any information regarding this case or any other crime, contact Crime Stoppers.
Now you can offer information, remain anonymous, and be eligible for a reward. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
Well, a late season cool front could mean a change in the weather for us.
Uh-oh. TV5 meteorologist Art Horn is up next with the forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
I could give you a lot of good reasons for shopping with
Bank robbery. Alfonso Pollard was arrested at his Boynton Beach home after a viewer recognized him in a news story. Action 5 News used his picture as a bank robbery suspect on the air this week. hoping someone might recognize him and call police. That's exactly what happened, and police found some of the stolen money and even some red dye on one of Pollard's shirts. Pollard is being held in the Palm Beach County Jail charged with bank robbery.
The stepson of...
Tonight, South Florida lawmen are trying to track down the suspects who vandalized and practically destroyed a tire store under construction. The incident occurred on May 5th on US 1 in Juno Beach, as we see in tonight's Crime Stoppers report. Police reports show the suspects must have known about construction. They crept into the half-finished project at night and proceeded to tear everything down.
Ready? Push.
They left the site in disarray, with owners estimating the damage at more than $15,000. The suspects also vandalized a construction trailer, setting fire to it and leaving it a gutted shell. Police believe the suspects fled in a truck of some sort because of the tools and equipment that was stolen from the construction trailer. The next day at daylight, the extent of the damage was seen.
I'm Sergeant Barrs at the Juno Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information, remain anonymous, and be eligible for a reward. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
Lawmen from around Palm Beach County are learning how to spot trouble behind the wheel tonight. They're taking part in a DUI detection course. The 20-hour class focuses on the legal issues involved.
Police don't know where a suspect is hiding, but he is responsible for the killing of a water company employee. As Laurel Sauer tells us in tonight's Crime Stoppers report, the May 10th murder apparently took place in connection with a robbery.
A senseless crime takes the life of a local man hard at work at the Zephyr Hills Water Company. The workday is over. Two employees are finishing up late business when they were suddenly approached by two robbers brandishing guns who slipped in the back door.
Hey, this is a robbery. Everybody on the ground now. You gotta get it. I'm not kidding, man. On the ground now. Hey, you, get up, in the back.
While Philip Valera was forced to open the safe in a back room, workmate Ross Hochleitner was being robbed by the second assailant, losing his ring, watch, and wallet.
Give me the money. Get out now.
Philip Valera's killer then pistol-whipped Hochleitner and ran out of the back bay door. 31-year-old Philip Valera died at the hospital, while Hochleitner suffered head injuries. Police have picked up one of the suspects, but he is not giving police any information. So lawmen are now searching for a suspect who looks like this composite drawing.
This is Bob Weekly with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
Now, you can offer information, remain anonymous, and still be eligible for a reward. You can call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in the South County area, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
They're better than crab.
Louis Kemp made a believer out of me.
Police are also trying to solve the robbery of a local corner grocery store that ended in tragedy. The store clerk was killed in the holdup. You might remember a clue by watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. Earlier this year, it was a relatively quiet night at the neighborhood corner grocery located at 15th Street and Henrietta Avenue in West Palm Beach. The 23-year-old clerk was working alone behind the counter. Two black men entered the store, one armed with a shotgun. He wore military-type clothing and stood by the front door. The second robber wore a black ski mask with dark clothing and brandished a blue steel revolver.
Give me your money! Hurry up! Hurry up! Give me your money! Hurry up! Hold it up! Hold it up! Hurry up! Get up!
Police say the suspect then grabbed money from the cash register and both men then ran from the store. Police have no leads to follow since no fingerprints were left behind and no descriptions were given since both men wore ski masks.
I'm Detective Sergeant Terry Senecal of the West Palm Beach Police Department. If you know anything about this robbery, homicide, or any other serious crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and may be eligible for a reward. The number to call in the West Palm Beach area is 689-TIPS. In the Glades, dial 996-TIPS, and in the South County area, you may call 276-TIPS.
A brush fire burned 15 acres of grass in Port St. Lucie and brought US 1 traffic to a crawl for nearly 2 hours this afternoon.
Back with second-degree murder.
West Palm Beach is under investigation tonight by police. Officials aren't quite sure if it was caused by a fall, a fight, or even a hit-and-run accident. You might be able to help after watching this possible scenario. It was a dark night in April with normal traffic along the busy intersection of Tamarind Avenue and Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. Police believe the victim, 60-year-old Oscar Griffith, may have been beaten up in a fight. They theorize he could have been injured somehow and ended up stumbling down a busy Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. Witnesses say at the intersection of Tamarind and Palm Beach Lakes, he was hit by a car turning left onto Tamarind. The victim was thrown to the ground by the impact, but he managed to struggle up and walk down the middle of the street, where he collapsed. Police found him on Tamarind Avenue. He was taken to the hospital, where he died. Medical reports show he had been drinking prior to the accident and had a history of seizures.
I'm Sergeant Rich Siciliano of the West Palm Beach Police Department. If you have any information regarding this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information, remain anonymous, and be eligible for a reward. Call 689-TIPS in the West Palm Beach area, 276-TIPS in South County, and 996-TIPS from the Glades.
A little earlier, we heard a report from Rick Leventhal telling us about the low water levels, critical low water levels in some areas. But just in the nick of time, looks like the wet weather's going to be with us for a while.
Yeah. You can also help police solve another theft in tonight's Crime Stoppers report. It focuses on a growing problem in South Florida, home burglaries. As you see in this crime reenactment, the suspect strikes during the light of day. In broad daylight, police think the burglar sizes up the home he wants to hit. This one is in the Sutton Place development in Boca Raton. The burglary occurred in early March of this year. The suspect carries out his crime by simply jumping over a backyard fence and trying to jimmy a door hidden from view. Searching through dresser drawers, he finds the valuables, estimated to cost $94,000. Grabbing his find, the suspect exits through the same door, leaving it unlocked.
I'm Detective Dan Reamer. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating numerous burglaries occurring in luxury golf and tennis communities in the South Palm Beach County area. If you have any information on this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS, and from the Glades, the number is 996-TIPS.
Well, Art Horn is saying tonight that the furnace-like heat will continue, unfortunately, for at least a few more days.
Boy, it's hotter than hot out there, Art. We're going to have him do something, but Art is hinting that relief could be in sight by the weekend. We'll check in on Art Horn and the forecast up next.
It's a mystery in every sense of the word. Police know they have a murder, but they have few clues to begin solving the case. As Action 5's Laurel Sauer tells us in tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment, a Broward County woman's body was found near Boynton Beach.
Just last month, sheriff's deputies found the body of a 33-year-old female in a canal along US 441, just south of Boynton Beach. She was wearing a faded pink t-shirt, blue jeans, and no shoes. Police identified her as Jeanette Cooper or Jeanette Butts. Friends have told police the victim was a loner who usually sat in front of the Pick and Pay store on Hillsborough Boulevard during the day. Described as a street person, she usually was seen at night just walking along South Dixie Highway. Cooper was last seen leaving Margaret's Bar on Southwest 1st Court and getting into a large dark car parked in front of the church across the street. She is described as 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs 105 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. No one knows what happened to her that night. Jeanette Cooper was found dead on May 23rd, lying face down on a canal bank, fully clothed.
This is Detective Larry Easton of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information about this case or any other Crime Stoppers case and remain anonymous. You can call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In the South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, the number is 996-TIPS.
South Florida forestry officials say recent thunderstorms are helping in the battle against a major wildfire burning.
Well, if we have to, we have to.
It was a horrible nightmare. A woman and a young child both brutally raped, and police cannot find the man who's responsible. You may be able to remember a clue that will help lawmen by watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. It was a quiet night in Delray Beach. It turned into a frightening assault. On May 27th, around 11 o'clock, the victim, a 22-year-old woman, drove to North Country Club Boulevard. While there, she picked up a friend's young son and daughter. Driving north on Dixie Highway, the driver turned east on Lindell Boulevard and then stopped at the Federal Highway traffic light. The suspect, waiting at the street corner, then ran up to the driver's door.
How about a ride?
No, I'm not going very far.
The suspect then quickly pushed his way into the car by reaching through the half-open window. The suspect punched the driver, breaking her nose while driving the victim south on Federal Highway. Then, in a shocking assault, the suspect drove the victims to a deserted field in the 600 block of Northwest 40th Street. The suspect pulled the driver from the car and raped her in Boca. He then returned to the car, grabbed the 7-year-old girl, and took her off into the darkness, raping her also. The suspect was last seen running from the area on foot. Police have two composite drawings of the same suspect. He is described as a white male, 26 to 28 years old, 5 feet 8 to 5 feet 9 inches tall, medium to muscular build, with sandy brown collar-length hair, a mustache, and a possible tattoo on his left collarbone.
I'm Sergeant Mike McCutcheon with the City of Boca Raton Police Department. If you have any information concerning this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, it's 996-TIPS.
Law enforcement agencies are allowed to seize property used in the commission of certain serious crimes. These cars and trucks were taken following drug raids in Martin County. And today, they were auctioned off to raise money for special projects in the Sheriff's Office. Among the bargains, a 1962 Mercedes-Benz for just under $800.
It was a horrible nightmare. A woman and a young child both brutally raped, and police cannot find the man who's responsible. You may be able to remember a clue that will help lawmen by watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. It was a quiet night in Delray Beach. It turned into a frightening assault. On May 27th, around 11 o'clock, the victim, a 22-year-old woman, drove to North Country Club Boulevard. While there, she picked up a friend's young son and daughter. Driving north on Dixie Highway, the driver turned east on Lindell Boulevard and then stopped at the Federal Highway traffic light. The suspect, waiting at the street corner, then ran up to the driver's door.
How about a ride?
No, I'm not going very far.
The suspect then quickly pushed his way into the car by reaching through the half-open window. The suspect punched the driver, breaking her nose while driving the victim south on Federal Highway. Then, in a shocking assault, the suspect drove the victims to a deserted field in the 600 block of Northwest 40th Street. The suspect pulled the driver from the car and raped her in Boca. He then returned to the car, grabbed the 7-year-old girl, and took her off into the darkness, raping her also. The suspect was last seen running from the area on foot. Police have two composite drawings of the same suspect. He is described as a white male, 26 to 28 years old, 5 feet 8 to 5 feet 9 inches tall, medium to muscular build, with sandy brown collar-length hair, a mustache, and a possible tattoo on his left collarbone.
I'm Sergeant Mike McCutcheon with the City of Boca Raton Police Department. If you have any information concerning this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, it's 996-TIPS.
Law enforcement agencies are allowed to seize property used in the commission of certain serious crime. Questioning suspects, but no arrests have yet been made. Laurel?
Another attack in a woman's home in Boca Raton has left police searching for clues with little to go on. You may be able to help lawmen find a suspect in the rape case, as seen in tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment. On a hot afternoon in March, a young female was washing her car in front of her apartment complex, dressed only in a two-piece bathing suit. The apartment is between the 1700 and 2100 block of Northwest 4th Avenue in Boca Raton. Police believe the suspect may have been watching the victim. The woman then returned to her apartment to get some food before heading to the pool to sit in the sun. Apparently, the suspect walked in her front door, which had been left open, startling the woman.
Is there anybody else here? No.
The suspect, threatening the victim with a knife, ordered the woman into a back bedroom, raping her.
Take off your suit.
The suspect is described as a white male about 6 feet tall with light brown collar-length hair, a light brown mustache. He was wearing a red long-sleeve button-type shirt and beige slacks.
What are you gonna do now?
What are you gonna do?
After the attack, the suspect ran out of the apartment through the front door.
I'm Sergeant Muth of the Boca Raton Police Department. If you have any information on this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, dial 996-TIPS.
Up next in weather, our meteorologist Art Horn is still singing the same soggy song, maybe a bit off-key, but it's there.
Definitely off-key, but his wet weather forecaster we promise folks he won't sing is coming right up. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
Visit your Florida Cadillac dealer now.
The shocking discovery of a woman's body near an intracoastal park in Palm Beach has police searching for clues tonight. You may be able to help after watching tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment. Renee Baker was last seen alive around 11 p.m. in the Albertsons parking lot on June 22nd. Her car, a bronze 1974 beat-up Plymouth Arrow, had broken down, and police theorize someone may have stopped to help her. Police think she may have ridden off with someone and apparently wound up at a park just south of the Southern Boulevard Bridge off the Intracoastal Waterway. The area is also known as a bird sanctuary in Palm Beach. Again, police think the 26-year-old Lantana woman may have gotten out of the car with the driver and gone for a walk, or maybe even for a swim. Her clothes were found neatly piled up on the ground beside her body.
Get over here! Get over here! Come on! Get in here now!
Renee Baker's body was found by a Palm Beach firefighter headed for work on Friday, June 22nd. Baker was last seen wearing blue jeans, a blue and white striped tank top, and sandal-type flip-flops.
I'm Detective Michael Bird of the Palm Beach Police. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, call 996-TIPS.
One of Florida's most wanted criminals has been caught. Patrick Manillo was arrested last week. The full collection of that bill. Laurel?
Well, tonight, police are trying to solve an abduction rape case that began at a South Florida mall. This Crime Stoppers reenactment may help you remember a clue which could help police. This shocking assault happened in broad daylight on July 6th at the Palm Beach Mall near the entrance to the movies. The victim was opening her car door when the suspect drove up in a tan four-door Chevrolet. He had a shotgun in the front seat.
Hey, you, get in the car. Get in the car now. Get in the car. Get in the car now.
With the victim driving, they jumped on I-95 and drove north. During the trip, the suspect stole money from the victim's purse. They got off the interstate at Blue Heron Boulevard, turning north on Avenue S, then west on Silver Beach Road, and stopped at a dead end.
Okay, ladies, you cooperate, you won't get hurt. You hear me? All right, listen to me now.
The suspect is described as a black male in his early 20s, about 5'3" to 5'4" tall. He weighs about 140 to 150 pounds, was clean shaven with a tan shirt and gray pants. After the rape, the suspect ordered the woman out of the car and threw her purse on the side of the road.
I'm Jim DeFago, the investigator of Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, the number is 996-TIPS.
Coming up next on Action 5 News, you will be able to find out if you're getting what you want from the weather.
Meteorologist Art Horn is up next with the forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
Started as a minor fender bender, but ended up in a brutal beating. You may be able to remember a clue by watching tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment. What started as a minor accident turned into a brutal assault for a Delray Beach woman. Driving east on Lake Ida Road and about to make a right turn, she was sideswiped by a tow truck driving on the sidewalk. The truck driver jumped out and pleaded with the woman not to call his boss, apparently worried he would be fired.
Look what you did to my car!
Oh, look, I'm sorry. Please don't call my boss. Please don't. I'm sorry.
The two exchanged phone numbers and addresses, and the victim left to drive home. Apparently, the suspect followed her home and waited for her to get out of the car.
Hold up.
Suddenly, the suspect grabbed the woman from behind, punching her repeatedly in the face. The victim tried to fight him off, even as he ripped her dress.
Is there anybody home?
The suspect must have thought someone might be home, so he jumped into his tow truck and left. Later that night, a police dispatcher got a call from a man saying he was the tow truck driver and he would turn himself in tomorrow. He was never heard from again.
I'm Sergeant Licata with the Delray Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain completely anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 689-TIPS. In South County, dial 276-TIPS. And from the Glades, the number to call is 996-TIPS.
Up next in weather, Hurricane Dean gaining strength and may be heading our way.
TV5 meteorologist Art Horn is up next to let us know what he thinks about Dean, if he will cause any trouble here. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
Investigating a murder case is often a long and tedious process.
So often that's the case, Denise. Lawmen must piece together small details just to come up with a possible scenario or suspect. Well, tonight our Crime Stoppers reenactment revisits 2 such cases where police need your help solving the crimes. A robbery at a Riviera Beach water plant leaves 1 man dead and another injured after a daring after-work attack. 2 suspects slipped in the back door of the Zephyr Hills Water Company.
This is a robbery. Everybody on the ground now. You gotta be kidding. I'm not kidding, man. On the ground now. Hey, you, get up, in the back.
The victim, Philip Valera, was shot in the back after he was forced to open the safe. A co-worker, Ross Hochleutner, was pistol whipped but survived the brutal attack. Police are still searching for a suspect who may look like this composite drawing. Another robbery killed a store clerk at a West Palm Beach corner grocery. 2 black men, one in army clothing, both wearing ski masks, burst into the store on 15th Street and Henrietta Avenue. Waving a revolver, one suspect demanded money.
Give me your money. Hurry up, give me your money. Hurry up, hold it.
The 23-year-old clerk was shot dead while the suspects raced out of the store. Police are still searching for the suspects with no leads or fingerprints left at the scene of the crime. You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. The number to call is 689-TIPS. From South County, call 276-TIPS. And from the Belle Glade area, the number is 996-TIPS.
Up next in weather, Art Horde will let us know if the clouds will clear in time for tonight's eclipse.
His forecast is next for Sewell's Point, South Bay, and all of South Florida. We've told you about before in our Crime Stoppers reports. They remain unsolved, but you may remember something that could help. A series of purse snatchings terrorized elderly women in a North Palm Beach shopping center earlier this year. The victims were all attacked while walking in the large parking lot. Police believe 2 young black men cased the area from a car, possibly a Buick Regal. The suspects picked on women shortly after they parked their cars. The victims were surprised from behind. The driver would pull close to the woman, and then the passenger would grab the purse. The getaway car then picks up speed and leaves quickly. Illegal dumping is becoming commonplace and a dangerous crime. It's a growing trend. Trucks driving down deserted highways, dumping trash in remote areas and then leaving. A tough new litter law makes it a felony to dump garbage more than 500 pounds, but the signs are everywhere. It's a hard law to enforce, and meanwhile, tires, trash, discarded wood objects, old rusted barrels with possible toxic waste that might leak into the groundwater are all dumped. Police insist the litter law will be enforced. The maximum penalty is 5 years in prison. You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. And now there is one toll-free number to take all your Crime Stopper calls. Call 1-800-458-TIPS anywhere in South Florida.
Tickets go on sale Friday for a major concert along the Treasure Coast. They'll be prepared.
Tonight, lawmen are investigating several armored car bank robbery cases, one that took place just yesterday and another that remains a mystery after 2 weeks. You may be able to help police after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. A daring daylight robbery of an armored truck shows the boldness of today's criminals. Police say earlier this month, just before noon on September 9th, an armored truck pulled up at 1800 Corporate Boulevard in Boca Raton for its routine money delivery. The guard closed the door, grabbed his gun, and looked alert. After opening the door, he was suddenly confronted by 2 robbers armed with revolvers.
Move it, I'll shoot.
One of the 2 men then grabbed the money bag along with the guard's weapon and shoved him up against the wall. The 2 men then raced out of the building, getting into a 1983 2-door Cadillac Coupe de Ville, which had been stolen earlier. They headed southwest, then abandoned the car in a nearby hotel parking lot. The robbers are described as 2 Latin men. One man had a thin build, while the driver was about 5 feet 9 inches tall, about 190 pounds, with dark hair, a mustache, wearing a tan shirt and khaki pants.
My name is Detective Kevin McCabe of the Boca Raton Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS from anywhere in South Florida.
Back in a moment with meteorologist Art Horn's forecast.
Beach over the 13 acres, and the city attorney thinks a settlement would be wise. Residents are meeting with the developer tonight to hear more about the proposal.
He had a very bright future. He was a teenager who attended school by day and worked with his father at night. But now he is dead, an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire. You may be able to help police find his killers after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. Police are searching for the killers of an innocent bystander who may have gotten caught in the crossfire of two rival drug gangs. It was late on a Sunday night, September 10th, around 11 o'clock. Police say Anthony Cox was walking with friends in the 1300 block of Tamarind Avenue. The Forest Hill High School graduate had no arrest record and was just ending an evening out with friends.
Check you fellas out. All right, man. Take it easy now.
Saying goodbye to his pals, he walked behind a chicken store until he came out on busy Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. Suddenly, he was confronted by two black males, one armed with a revolver, the other with a shotgun. The two suspects immediately raced away from the grisly scene. Witnesses later said they heard voices shouting, "Where is he? Where did he go?" Leading police to believe Cox was an innocent victim mistaken as a gang member by rival drug gangs from West Palm Beach and Riviera Beach.
This is Detective Jeff Woodward, West Palm Beach Police. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS from anywhere in South Florida.
Up next in weather, you can expect more nice days like this one.
But no relief from the drought. The forecast is next for Stewart, West Palm Beach, and all the rest of South Florida. Strong-armed robbery in Boca Raton. As we learn in this Crime Stoppers reenactment, the victim was followed by her assailant and suffered a beating at his hands. A shocking assault in broad daylight has Boca Raton police searching for a suspect. The victim had been grocery shopping on August 4th in mid-afternoon and returned home to the 1200 block of Camino Real. Carrying in her groceries, she was suddenly confronted by a black male armed with a long-barreled handgun.
Get out!
No.
When the victim started screaming, the suspect lunged at her, hitting her on the head with the gun while dragging her into the house. Inside, the suspect forced the woman to take off expensive jewelry, including a 2-carat diamond ring, a large rope chain necklace, and a gold mesh-type chain bracelet. While the suspect was looking for more jewelry and cash, the frightened victim managed to escape out a back door. Witnesses say a black compact vehicle with a hatchback and 3-inch red stripe on the side was seen speeding away. The car might have been a Honda CRX.
I'm Detective Mike Angelucci of the Boca Raton Police Department. If you have information on this case or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
And if you have any information about this or any other crime, you can reach Crime Stoppers by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS.
The shroud of fog rolled into the Palm Beaches early this morning, casting a gray shadow over the area.
Tonight, lawmen need help finding out what happened in between and who is to blame. You may be able to help after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. The cold-blooded murder of a hard-working cab driver has police stumped. It started out as a routine workday. A call comes in to Yellow Cab headquarters requesting a ride.
Hello, I'd like to have a yellow cab. I'm in Royal Palm.
The victim, 47-year-old Stephen Pies, picked up a routine fare at the Manhattan restaurant on the corner of Royal Palm Beach Boulevard and Okeechobee Boulevard at 2:30.
Hi, how you doing? All right. Where to?
out in the acreage. I'll give you directions when we get out there.
The cab driver heads off to the acreage, a rural residential community in western Palm Beach County. The cab, number 46, was seen driving around the area at several different places, even on a deserted dirt road by a water treatment plant. Police theorize the cab stopped at 13545 72nd Court in Royal Palm Beach, where it was found later. The murder may have taken place there. The victim's body was found inside the trunk of his cab on September 30th. A deputy noticed a foul odor when investigating a burglary at the same address. Pies was shot several times in the upper body with a 9mm semi-automatic weapon. It appears the victim was robbed. The keys to the cab were also missing.
I'm Detective Tom Turner of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information concerning this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS from anywhere in South Florida.
Meteorologist Art Horn says we may be getting some drop relief soon.
And cooler weather could be on the way. The forecast is next. Stay with us.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett and Laurel Sauer.
Answers. Her daughter was found dead and police have very few clues leading them to the killer. You might be able to help after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. 31-year-old Cheryl Morton was last seen alive in the early morning hours on Labor Day, Monday, September 4th. After leaving a girlfriend's house in Royal Palm Beach, she drove a friend to the Burger King at Okeechobee and Royal Palm Beach Boulevard to pick up his car. They sat in the parking lot for a while in her black 1986 Pontiac Trans Am with Alabama tags before leaving. According to witnesses, Morton's friend left and she took off driving east on Okeechobee toward West Palm. Somewhere along the way, she made the fatal mistake of picking up a passenger. West Palm Beach police can only guess at what happened next. They do know that Morton was shot twice at very close range inside her car. She was then pushed out along the interstate. Morton's mother reported her missing the next day. 1 week later, on September 11th, Morton's badly decomposed body was discovered along the southbound lane of I-95 between Summit and Forest Hill Boulevard. Her car was found several days later in Fort Lauderdale.
This is Detective Dina Peterson with the West Palm Beach Police Department. If you have any information regarding this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
And you can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing one place on another holiday 2 years ago. You might be able to help after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. 2 years ago, 50-year-old David Steen began Easter Sunday with his usual routine, heading outside his house at 381 Northeast 2nd Avenue to pick up his morning paper. He then went to the kitchen for his morning coffee. While reading the headline, Steen's killer entered the kitchen area from behind, approached him and hit him several times in the head with a heavy metal object, knocking the victim to the floor. When Steen never showed up for Easter dinner, relatives grew concerned and went searching for the victim. They found him fully dressed, lying in a pool of blood.
I'm Detective Judge with the Delray Beach Police Department. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS from anywhere in South Florida.
Coming up next in weather, meteorologist Art Horn says there may be another reason to be thankful tomorrow.
He says some much-needed rain could fall our way in the afternoon. His forecast is next for Hobe Sound, Boynton Beach, and all the rest of South Florida.
You're watching Action 5 News with Jim Sackett.
After watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. 31-year-old Cheryl Morton was last seen alive in the early morning hours on Labor Day, Monday, September 4th. After leaving a girlfriend's house in Royal Palm Beach, she drove a friend to the Burger King at Okeechobee and Royal Palm Beach Boulevard to pick up his car. They sat in the parking lot for a while in her black 1986 Pontiac Trans Am with Alabama tags before leaving. According to witnesses, Morton's friend left and she took off driving east on Okeechobee toward West Palm. Somewhere along the way, she made the fatal mistake of picking up a passenger. West Palm Beach police can only guess at what happened next. They do know that Morton was shot twice at very close range inside her car. She was then pushed out along the interstate. Morton's mother reported her missing the next day. 1 week later, on September 11th, Morton's badly decomposed body was discovered along the southbound lane of I-95 between Summit and Forest Hill Boulevard. Her car was found several days later in Fort Lauderdale.
This is Detective Dina Peterson with the West Palm Beach Police Department. If you have any information regarding this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
And you can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-4
miles an hour. She's hospitalized tonight. Police say Rubin was not wearing a seatbelt.
A violent attack and a robbery. It all happened after a Boca Raton woman was followed from a western Boca Raton shopping center on Friday, November 17th. You may be able to help find the man responsible after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. It had just turned dark about 6:15 in the evening. The 42-year-old woman was returning home after making a transaction at a local bank. She walked alone through the parking lot of the Loggers Run Shopping Plaza. Detectives believe the assailant followed the victim from the shopping center parking lot to her house where the attack occurred. While walking up the sidewalk toward the front door of her home, the victim was approached from behind. She thought it was someone she knew. The victim struggled during the attack, screaming, punching, and kicking. The fighting discouraged the assailant, who grabbed her purse and then fled west on Vista Wood Way. The suspect is described as a white male, about 25 years old, 5'9", 155 pounds, with short brown hair and a short mustache. He is described as Latin-looking and was wearing a light-colored tank top and dark pants.
I'm Jim DeFago, the investigator at Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County. If you know anything about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS from anywhere in South Florida.
Up there.
It's free inside fruit roll-ups.
Construction sites are common in many parts of South Florida. They're also becoming popular targets of vandals. This Crime Stoppers reenactment may help you remember something that could help lawmen solve this costly case. Investigators are concerned about vandalism occurring at construction sites of new schools around the county. One site in Jupiter, a future elementary school located at Haney Lane, was hit hard. Expensive construction machinery was vandalized sometime between Thursday, November 9th and Friday, November 10th. Investigators theorize the suspects had operating knowledge of construction equipment because two backhoes had been moved and broken by ramming headfirst into each other. Damage is estimated at about $100,000. The suspects also dumped dirt all over the machinery, rendering the equipment useless for the day. Once the machinery was broken, the suspects raced from the area, leaving behind few clues to follow up on.
I'm Detective Varga of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information about this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and remain anonymous, and you could be eligible for a reward. The number to dial from anywhere in South Florida is 1-800-4. The job alone, and tonight they need your help in Juno Beach. If you were near the waterfront retirement home exactly 1 week ago, you may be able to help find a man responsible for a brutal murder. It was 2:30 on the afternoon of December 20th when 80-year-old Doris Lentz was in her car near the entrance of the Waterfront Retirement and Healthcare Home at 601 South Highway 1 in Juno Beach. Unaware of any danger, the victim pulled into the entrance. Suddenly, the suspect jumps into her car. Lentz, frightened, hits the horn. The suspect stabs the victim in the chest one time, and Doris Lentz tumbles from the car onto the ground. The car then rolls down the driveway of the parking lot, coming to rest on the edge of the grassy area some 200 feet away. Witnesses last saw the suspect running west through the parking lot. He is described as a black male, about 25 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 185 to 195 pounds, wearing a white shirt, blue sweater, dark pants, and white tennis shoes. Police have no clues at all in this strange and brutal murder. Nothing was taken from the car, so police are baffled as to a motive. And no leads were turned up despite a search by the sheriff's helicopter and canine unit.
I'm Jim DeFago, the investigator of Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers. If you have any information about this case or any other crime, call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS. You'll be eligible to collect a reward of up to $1,000.
Coming up next in weather, Art Horton says the day-by-day...
Lawmen are always concerned about the potential for violence, especially during crimes like bank robberies. Tonight's Crime Stoppers reenactment may help you remember a clue that could help authorities solve a holdup. On Friday, December 8th, the Palm Beach Savings and Loan at 4587 Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach was about to be robbed for the third time by the same suspect. The man, dressed in a green jacket and green baseball cap, entered the bank, took off his sunglasses, and at the same time pulled a white handkerchief up over his face. He then pulled a gun out from underneath his jacket and made his move.
This is a holdup. Put your hands up. I'm not joking. Give me all your money.
The nervous teller handed over the money while setting off the silent alarm. Grabbing the cash, the suspect headed out the back door, stuffing the cash inside his jacket. Once outside, a red dye pack exploded as the suspect ran east through the parking lot. Jumping on a bicycle, he rode east on Okeechobee Boulevard and then north on Military Trail. Sheriff's deputies were on the scene in minutes but were unable to trace the suspect. Sheriff's detectives are looking for a white male, about 6'3", 175 pounds, probably in his mid-30s. He was wearing a green jacket, green baseball cap, white shirt, tan pants, sunglasses with a tie string, and a white scarf around his neck.
I'm Detective Rafael Duran of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information on this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, please call Crime Stoppers.
You can offer information anonymously and could be eligible for a reward. The number to dial from anywhere throughout South Florida is 1-800-458-TIPS.
Mild days, cool nights. Art Horton's forecast up next. To the overcrowding problem.
Area lawmen are looking for solutions to related unsolved mysteries tonight. It's taking a team effort to find clues to the two unusual burglaries. You may be able to help after watching this Crime Stoppers reenactment. A clothing theft in Boca Raton has police searching for clues. On Sunday, December 10th, sometime after 9:30 at night, several suspects broke into Portofino's men's store at 5250 Town Center Road in unincorporated Boca Raton. The burglars twisted the deadlock off, and once inside, they grabbed men's suits, sweaters, ties, and belts, all valued at about $231,000. The suspects then raced away in a white paneled van. The following Wednesday, another burglary down the street in Boca Raton fit the same pattern. Investigators believe the same suspects broke into another men's shop, La Ferrera, in the Royal Palm Plaza on South Federal Highway, taking men's suits and sweaters valued at $3,000 to $4,000. Investigators say there were 3 Latin males seen in the area in the early morning hours, 2 in a van and 1 seen in a tan vehicle leaving the area.
I'm Detective Rob Hawkins of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office.
And I'm Detective Mike Angelucci of the Boca Raton Police Department.
If you have any information regarding these possibly related crimes,
please call Crime Stoppers in Palm Beach County.
You can offer information and be eligible for a reward. You can call anonymously by dialing 1-800-458-TIPS. You'll be eligible to collect a reward of up to $1,000.
More